Emotion isn't weakness, it's connection. The Nexus 7 market hub pulsed with chaos, a cacophony of alien tongues and clashing colors. Shouts echoed off curved steel walls, mingling with the low hum of grav plates beneath the deck. Ethan Cole shoved through the crowd, his boots clanging. On the grated floor, heart pounding like a war drum, a Zikari merchant, skin swirling with crimson fury, loomed over a Lyrian trader whose cybernetic arms sparked with erratic pulses. The air crackled, thick with the tang of ozone. "Back off, both of you." Ethan's voice cut through the din, sharp but strained. His hand hovered over his holster, pulse pistol cold against his hip. The scar across his chest burned under his jacket, a ghost of the Red Haven incident when fear had cost him his squad. Not again, he swore, but doubt gnawed at him. Could he hold this fragile piece? The Zikari hissed, colors flaring to molten orange, tentacles waving like a storm. "This machine cheats us." Its voice vibrated, a chorus of overlapping tones. Valerian's optic lens whirred, red light flickering. "Illogical. Transaction. Data is precise," it droned, mechanical fingers twitching. Ethan stepped between them, palms raised, feeling the crowd's eyes. Human. Alien. All judging. A console nearby screeched, sparks flying, its hologram stuttering with trade logs. Before Ethan could react, a figure glided through the chaos, diamond-like skin catching the neon glow. Kaelis, the Vorath engineer, moved with liquid grace, her violet eyes locking onto the sparking panel. She knelt, tools flashing in her slender hands, and the screech faded to a soft whir. The console stabilized, but her gaze flicked to Ethan, cold and unyielding. "Problem solved," Kaelis said, her voice smooth, like polished steel. She stood barely reaching his shoulder, her frail frame a stark contrast to her precision. "You're welcome, human." The word carried a bite, as if she'd tasted it and found it lacking. Ethan forced a grin, hiding the unease her stare stirred. "Didn't ask for a rescue, but I'll take it." He studied her shimmering skin, wondering what drove a Vorath, logic incarnate, to linger in this mess of a Marcus. "Name's Ethan Cole. You always this quick with a fix?" Kaelis tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "Kaelis, and I fix what breaks. Unlike you, I don't invite chaos." Her tone was flat, but her fingers twitched, betraying a flicker of something. Curiosity? Irritation? Ethan couldn't tell. The crowd dispersed, Zikari colors cooling to blues, Lyrian retreating with a mechanical hum. Ethan exhaled, tension easing, but Kaelis's words lingered like a challenge. He gestured toward the crew lounge, its warm lights visible through a distant arch. "Got a gathering tonight. Food, music, humans making fools of themselves. You in?" She froze, as if he'd offered poison. "Vorath don't mingle." Her voice dipped, softer now. "I'm defective by their standards, too weak for our world's gravity." She turned to leave, her glow dimming under the market's harsh neons. Ethan called after her. "Defective's just another word for unique." She didn't look back, but he caught a pause in her step, a split-second hesitation. The scar on his chest throbbed, urging him to chase that spark, to prove he could save something, someone, this time. He started toward the lounge, weaving past stalls of glowing Zikari fabrics and Lyrian tech, their hums blending into a restless symphony. The market's energy buzzed, but a new sound cut through, a sharp crack, like metal splitting. Ethan spun, eyes darting to the console Kaelis had fixed. It flickered, not with trade data, but with a pulsing signal, jagged and alien. Like a brainwave caught in static, his breath hitched. The panel's glow wasn't human tech, not Zikari, not Lyrian. It was something else, something tied to her. Kaelis was gone, vanished into the crowd, her silhouette a fleeting shimmer. Ethan's hand clenched, pulse racing. "What did you just do?" he muttered, staring at the console's eerie light. The crew lounge glowed with warm amber light, a pocket of earth carved into Nexus 7's steel heart. Laughter bounced off the walls, mingling with the clink of glasses and the faint strum of a guitar. Ethan leaned against a table, nursing a drink, his eyes scanning the room. The scar on his chest itched, a reminder of Red Haven's ghosts. But tonight he pushed it down. He needed this, his crew, his anchor. Yet his thoughts kept drifting to Kaelis, her diamond skin and sharp words lingering like a half-solved puzzle. Across the room, Lula Torres stood rigid, her dark eyes tracking the crowd. "You're distracted, Captain," she said, voice low, cutting through the chatter. She stepped closer, her tablet humming with data. "That Vorath, Kaelis. She's trouble. Earth's orders were clear. Keep distance." Ethan took a slow sip, the burn of synth whiskey grounding him. "Orders don't always see the whole picture, Loila." He nodded toward the crew, where a young ensign belted a off-key tune, grinning wide. "Look at this. Chaos, sure, but it's alive. She could learn something here." Lila's jaw tightened. Or she could be a conquered surveillance risk. Her bio readings are off. Spikes in neural activity, flagged by Lumora. She tapped her tablet, and a faint beep echoed, sharp, against the lounge's warmth. Ethan's grip on his glass tightened, Kaelis's console signal flashing in his mind. Jagged, alien. He forced a shrug. She fixed a crisis today. That's more than most do. But doubt crept in, cold and heavy. What was she hiding? The lounge doors hissed open, and Kaelis stepped in, her glow dim under the soft lights. The room quieted, eyes turning to her shimmering skin, her violet gaze steady but guarded. Ethan straightened, a grin tugging at his lips. "Didn't think you'd show," he called, waving her over. "Grab a drink. No gravity tests here." Kaelis hesitated, then glided forward, her movements precise, like a dancer dodging unseen traps. "I came to observe," she said, voice cool but curious. "Your rituals confuse me." She stopped near Ethan, close enough for him to catch. A faint metallic scent, like stardust and circuits. Jara Vin, the Zykari diplomat, swirled into view, her skin pulsing vibrant blues and golds. "Confusion is just art waiting to happen," she chimed, tentacles swaying like a melody. Her voice hummed with layered tones, warm and inviting. Humans spill emotion everywhere. It's beautiful chaos. Vren Thalor, the Lyrian engineer, snorted from a corner, his cybernetic eye glinting red. "Chaos is inefficiency," he droned, voice flat, mechanical. "Emotions are system errors, nothing more." His metal fingers clicked rhythmically, a restless tick against the table. Kaelis tilted her head, studying the room. "Then why indulge?" she asked, her eyes locking on Ethan. "This noise, what purpose does it serve?" Ethan set his drink down, the clink sharp in the pause. He stepped closer, voice dropping low. "It reminds us we're alive. Pain, joy, all of it." His fingers brushed his jacket over the scar. "Ever feel something you can't explain, Kaelis? Something that keeps you up at night?" Her gaze flickered, a crack in her icy calm. "Vorath don't dwell on feelings." But her voice wavered, and for a moment, her skin pulsed brighter. She tried a smile, awkward, fleeting but real. Ethan's chest warmed, a spark of connection flaring. Before he could press further, Lila pulled him aside, her grip firm. "Lamora's got more on her," she whispered, urgency sharpening her words. "Neural spikes tied to that console today. Concord's watching, Ethan. She's not just some stray engineer." Ethan glanced at Kaelis, now standing alone, Jara's colors dancing around her. Her smile was gone, replaced by a distant stare, as if wrestling something unseen. The lounge's laughter felt hollow now, drowned by the hum of doubt in his head. He slipped away, weaving now through the crowd, their voices fading to a dull roar. In Kaelis's workshop, the air was cold, sharp with the scent of solar and ozone. A hologram flickered on her bench, half hidden behind tools, a schematic, glowing with lines and nodes, labeled Neural Bridge. It pulsed, alive, but locked with encryption he couldn't crack. Ethan's breath caught, the console's alien signal echoing in his memory. Friend or foe? The question burned, unanswered, as the hologram's light cast shadows across his face. The lounge's amber glow bathed the chessboard, its wooden pieces casting soft shadows on the table. Ethan Cole leaned back, one hand cradling a steaming mug, the bitter tang of coffee grounding him. Across from him sat Kaelis, her diamond skin catching the light like a fractured star. Her violet eyes studied the board with surgical precision, each move deliberate, a Vorath mind slicing through chaos. The hum of Nexus 7's engines pulsed faintly through the walls, a steady heartbeat beneath the quiet. "Your move, Captain," Kaelis said, her voice smooth but edged like a blade wrapped in silk. She tapped a pawn, sliding it forward with a faint click. "Your strategy is unpredictable, illogical." Ethan grinned, unfazed, and nudged a knight into play. "That's the fun of it. Logic's great, but joy's the real win." He sipped his coffee, watching her closely. The neural bridge schematic haunted him, its encrypted secrets gnawing at his thoughts. Yet here she was, playing his game, her guard lower than before. Could he trust that spark he'd seen in her smile? Kaelis tilted her head, strands of silver hair glinting. "Joy," she echoed, testing the word. "Her distraction, yet you cling to it." Her fingers hovered over a bishop, then stilled. "My neural bridge, it's not just a tool. It's proof Vorath were wrong to erase emotion after the Great Collapse. I want them to see what I see." Ethan's mug paused mid-air, steam curling like a question. "And what's that?" His tone softened, probing. "You're out here, not on your homeworld, building something that could shake your whole culture. Why fight so hard?" Her eyes met his, sharp but wavering, as if peering into uncharted space. "Because I'm defective," she said, voice low, almost a whisper. "Too weak for Vorath's gravity, too alive for their logic. The bridge is my answer. To them, to myself." She moved her queen, capturing his knight with a soft clack. "Check." Ethan leaned forward, elbows on the table, the scar under his jacket tingling. "I get it. Running from something you can't fix." His voice grew rough, memories of Red Haven flashing, screams, smoke, his boots frozen in retreat. "I left Earth after I failed my squad. Nexus 7's my shot to make it right. Maybe you're mine too." Kaelis's hand froze, her skin flickering, brighter, a pulse of light betraying her calm. "You assume I need saving," she said, but her tone lacked its usual bite. The lounge's warmth seemed to close in, the distant chatter of crew fading to a murmur. Before Ethan could reply, Lila Torres strode in, her boots clicking sharply on the deck. "Captain." A word. Her voice was taut, her tablet glowing with alerts. She glanced at Kaelis, eyes narrowing. "Now." Ethan sighed, pushing back his chair with a scrape. "Don't touch the board," he told Kaelis, half smiling. "I'm not done losing yet." She didn't respond, her gaze locked on the pieces, as if they held answers she couldn't grasp. Outside the lounge, the corridor buzzed with Nexus 7's life, panels humming, air vents hissing softly. Lila lowered her voice, urgent. Lamora's picking up signals from her workshop, neural activity spiking like before. Concord's breathing. "Down our necks, Ethan. Earth wants her flagged." Ethan's jaw clenched, the neural bridge's glow flashing in his mind. Alien. Unreadable. "She's helping us, Lila. She saved the market hub." But doubt crept in, cold as the steel walls. Around them, was Kaelis a bridge or a bomb? Lila stepped closer, her breath sharp. "Helping or hiding? Those spikes aren't random. She's not one of us." Her tablet beeped, a red alert pulsing. Lamora's flagged her as a risk. Ethan's eyes flicked to the lounge window where Kaelis sat, alone, staring at the chessboard. Her fingers brushed a pawn, hesitant, as if touching something forbidden. Then, a flicker. Her skin pulsed erratically, a brief flare of light that dimmed as quickly as it came. His stomach twisted. That wasn't just a glitch. It was a memory. Taran Vex, the Vorath inspector, looming over her past, his shadow cast across her now. Ethan's hand curled into a fist, the scar burning under his jacket. "She's scared," he murmured, half to himself. Of what, or who? The Nexus 7 command deck hummed with tension, its consoles casting a cold blue glow across the chamber. Ethan Cole stood at the edge, arms crossed, the scar on his chest a dull ache under his jacket. Below, through the viewport, the stations, docking ring churned, ships gliding like silent predators in the void. A new arrival dominated the scene. A sleek Vorath cruiser, its hull glinting like polished obsidian, radiating menace. Ethan's gut tightened. Trouble had a way of announcing itself. The deck doors hissed open, and Taran Vex stepped through, his metallic gray skin absorbing the light like a black hole. His eyes, devoid of pupils, swept the room, pinning Ethan with an unblinking stare. A faint hum followed him, the buzz of concealed tech woven into his robes. "Captain Cole," Taran said, his voice a low chime, sharp as shattered glass. "The Interstellar Concord appreciates your hospitality." Ethan forced a nod, keeping his tone even. "Didn't expect a Vorath inspector so soon, Taran. What's the occasion?" He caught a flicker of movement. Kaelis lingering near, a console, her diamond skin dim, as if trying to vanish into the shadows. Taran's lips twitched, not quite a smile. Order must be maintained. He paced, boots clicking on the deck, each step deliberate. 5 centuries ago, our great collapse tore Vorath apart. Emotion fueled civil war, erased 70% of our kind. We locked it away, genetically, permanently. His gaze snapped to Kaelis, cold and dissecting. Some threatened that balance. Kaelis stiffened, her fingers curling into fists. "I serve Nexus 7, she said, voice steady but thin, like a wire stretched to breaking. "My work harms no one." Her violet eyes met Ethan's for a heartbeat, a silent plea he couldn't read. Ethan stepped forward, drawing Taran's focus. "She's saved this station more than once. That's worth something." But the neural bridge schematic burned in his memory, encrypted, alien, pulsing with secrets. He pushed the thought down, holding Taran's stare. Taran tilted his head, a predator sizing up prey. Worth is fleeting when chaos looms. He gestured to the viewport, where the cruiser loomed. Vorath learned logic's price. "I'm here to ensure Kaelis doesn't forget it." His words hung heavy, laced with a threat that chilled the Heo air. A console beeped, breaking the silence. Jara Vin glided in, her Zykari skin swirling soft greens, a calming tide. "Inspector, Nexus 7 thrives on cooperation," she said, her layered voice soothing, almost musical. "Kaelis's neural bridge could unite us, not divide." Her tentacles swayed, catching the light like liquid jade. Vren Thaler, hunched over, a terminal, scoffed without looking up. "Unity's overrated," he muttered, his cybernetic eye whirring red. "Her device causes errors. Larian systems flagged it. Unstable outputs." His mechanical fingers tapped a rhythm, impatient, accusing. Kaelis stepped into the light, her glow faint but defiant. "The neural bridge translates neural signals, dopamine, cortisol, into forms you understand." Her voice sharpened, precise. "Zykari see it as color shifts, Larian as data pulses. It's a tool, not a weapon." She paused, wincing slightly, as if the words cost her. "But it's taxing. Overuse brings pain, risks overload." Ethan's eyes narrowed, catching the strain in her tone. Pain? Overload? She hadn't mentioned that before. He glanced at Taran, whose expression remained unreadable, a mask of polished steel. Jara's colors brightened, hopeful, a tool for empathy. Imagine it, species truly understanding each other. Vren snorted, his fingers clicking louder, but Ethan ignored him, watching Kaelis. Her hands trembled, just for a moment, before she clasped them tightly. Taran moved closer to her, his shadow falling across her glow. "Empathy destroyed us once," he said, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "You betray Vorath's sacrifice, Kaelis." He leaned in, too close, and her skin flickered erratically, a burst of light that faded fast. Ethan's hand twitched toward his pistol, instinct flaring, but he stopped. "Back off, Taran," he said, low and firm, stepping between them. "She's part of this station. My crew." Taran's gaze shifted to Ethan, calculating, then retreated a step. "For now," he said, turning toward the doors. The hum of his robes faded, but the weight of his words lingered, thick as smoke. Ethan turned to Kaelis, her glow steadying, but her eyes distant. "You okay?" he asked, voice soft, searching. She nodded, barely, and moved to a console, her fingers dancing over controls, too quick, too tense. A faint beep sounded, unnoticed by the others. Ethan glanced down, spotting a tiny device under the console, its light pulsing red. Taran's work, surveillance, sabotage, or worse. His pulse quickened, the neural bridge's secrets looming larger, darker. Kaelis's skin flickered again, a rogue spark in the blue light. Ethan froze, the deck's hum suddenly deafening. Had she triggered something, or was Taran already pulling the strings? The Nexus 7 engineering bay thrummed with a restless pulse, its air sharp with the bite of solder and ozone. Kaelis knelt before a glowing console, her diamond skin reflecting jagged bursts of light from the neural bridge prototype. Tools clattered softly as she adjusted a tangle of circuits, each movement precise but strained, like a dancer on the edge of collapse. Ethan Cole stood nearby, arms crossed, the scar under his jacket a quiet burn. The memory of Taran Vex's surveillance device, red, blinking, hidden, gnawed at him. But Kaelis's focus held him captive. "Almost there," Kaelis murmured, her voice taut, barely louder than the console's hum. A holographic display flickered, showing waves of neural signals, dopamine spikes, cortisol dips, translating into vibrant Zykari hues and Lyrian data streams. Her fingers trembled, and a bead of sweat traced her temple, glinting like a fallen star. Ethan shifted, boots scuffing the deck. "You're pushing too hard," he said, keeping his tone light but firm. "That thing hurts you, doesn't it?" He nodded at the neural bridge, its cables coiling like veins. Her wince back on the command deck hadn't escaped him. Pain, she'd admitted, and overload. The words hung heavy, unanswered. Kaelis didn't look up, her eyes locked on the hologram. "It's worth it," she said, sharp but brittle. "If I can make them see Zykari, Lyrian, even Vorath, what we share beneath the surface." Her voice softened, a rare crack in her armor. "Emotion isn't weakness. It's connection." Ethan's chest tightened, her words echoing his own need to connect, to redeem Red Haven's failure. He crouched beside her, close enough to feel the faint heat of her glow. "I get wanting to prove something, but you don't have to break yourself doing it." His hand hovered, wanting to steady her, but he held back, unsure of her boundaries. The bay doors slid open with a hiss, and Jara Vin glided in, her Zykari skin pulsing soft pinks and golds, like dawn breaking. "Kaelis, let me feel it again," she called, her layered voice bubbling with excitement. "Your last test." My colors sang with hope. It was alive. Her tentacles swayed, brushing the air like a gentle tide. Kaelis stood, steadying herself against the console. "One more," she said, exhaling sharply. She tapped a control, and the neural bridge hummed. Louder, its light bathing the room. Jara gasped, her skin erupting in vivid blues, swirling with patterns that seemed to breathe. "Yes," Jara laughed, spinning. "It's like painting with my soul." But Kaelis faltered, a hand clutching her chest. Her glow dimmed, and she sank to one knee, breath ragged. Ethan lunged forward, catching her arm. Kaelis, stop. His voice cracked, urgent. Her skin felt warm, too warm under his grip. The hologram flickered wildly, then stabilized, but her violet eyes were glassy, unfocused. "I'm fine," she gasped, pulling free, but her stagger betrayed her. "It's just feedback." She forced a nod at Jara, whose colors dulled with worry. "It worked, didn't it?" Ethan's jaw clenched. "None of it kills you." He glanced at the bridge, its hum now a low growl, almost mocking. Terran's warning echoed. Betrayal. Chaos. Was this what he feared? The bay's calm buzzed, and Lila Torres's voice cut through, clipped and cold. "Captain, Lamora's got something. Bridge signals are leaking off station, way off, past the system. Concord's asking questions." A pause, heavy with suspicion. Earth thinks she's signaling someone. Ethan's eyes flicked to Kaelis, who froze, her glow pulsing erratically. "I didn't," she started, then stopped, confusion clouding her face. "That's not possible." But her voice wavered, doubt creeping in. Jara stepped closer, tentacles curling protectively. "She's helping us, Captain. You saw my colors." But Ethan barely heard, his mind racing. The neural bridge, Terran's device. Now this, signals reaching the void. He wanted to believe Kaelis, but the scar on his chest burned, whispering of trust betrayed. A faint chime sounded, and Kaelis's personal comm lit up. She tapped it, and a Vorath message scrolled across, stark and final. "Return to the Council, or face exile." Her glow faded to a dull shimmer, her breath catching. Before Ethan could speak, another signal blinked. A second message encrypted from an unknown source. "We need you. The truth awaits." Kaelis stared at the screen, her hands trembling. She turned to Ethan, eyes wide, searching. "Who do I trust?" she whispered, voice breaking, as if the weight of two worlds pressed against her. Ethan's heart pounded, the bay's hum swallowing his thoughts. The neural bridge glowed behind her, its light casting long shadows. And somewhere in the void, an answer was coming. Friend or foe, he couldn't know. The Nexus 7 market hub erupted in chaos, a storm of fire and screams tearing through the air. Alarms blared, their shrill wails slicing into Ethan Cole's ears as he sprinted across the deck, pulse pistol hot in his hand. Sparks rained from a shattered stall, Zikari colors flashing in panicked streaks, Larian optics stuttering red. Raiders, clad in patched armor, faces hidden behind visors, swarmed the crowd, their disruptors spitting arcs of blue plasma. Ethan's scar burned under his jacket, Red Haven's ghosts screaming. "Don't fail again. Fall back," Ethan shouted, voice hoarse, ducking behind a crate as a blast scorched the air. His crew scrambled, returning fire, their shots cracking like thunder. He glimpsed Lila Torres across the hub, barking orders, her rifle steady. But doubt clawed at him. Raiders this bold meant planning, meant betrayal. Terran Vex's shadow loomed in his mind, cold and sharp. A console exploded nearby, hurling shrapnel through the smoke. Ethan cursed, heart pounding, and scanned the chaos. For Kaelis, she'd been at the hub's edge, tweaking a power relay, her diamond skin a beacon in the gloom. Where is she? The neural bridge's risks, pain, overload, signals leaking to the void, flashed through his head. Had Terran sent these thugs to stop her? Through the haze, a shimmer caught his eye. Kaelis knelt by a mangled panel, tools dancing in her hands, her glow flickering under the strain. The hub's light surged, then steadied, her repairs holding. Back, total blackout. She rose, staggering, and met Ethan's gaze. Violet eyes, fierce but frayed. "Defenses online," she called, voice cutting through the din, sharp as a blade. Ethan vaulted the crate, firing at a raider who crumpled with a grunt. "Nice work," he panted, reaching her side. "But we're not out yet." He grabbed her arm, pulling her toward cover, her warmth startling against his palm. Her glow dimmed, a sign of the neural bridge's toll, and his gut twisted. "You hurt." "I manage," Kaelis snapped, shaking free, but her breath hitched, betraying pain. She clutched a tool like a lifeline, scanning the hub. "This isn't random. Someone wants Nexus 7 weak." Ethan nodded, jaw tight. "Terran's got his claws in this, I'd bet." He fired again, the pistol's kick steadying his nerves. Raiders fell back, outnumbered, but the damage was done. Stalls smoldered, wounded groaned, and the air reeked of charred metal. He risked a glance at Kaelis, her face set, unreadable. "What aren't you telling me?" The alarm shifted, a new tone pulsing, low, ominous. Lumora's voice crackled through the comms, calm but urgent. "Warning. Self-destruct protocol detected. Countdown initiated. 48 hours remaining." The words hit like a punch, freezing Ethan's blood. Self-destruct on a conquered station. Lila slid into cover beside them, her face grim, streaked with soot. "Lumora's not joking," she said, voice low, eyes darting to Kaelis. This started when she touched the grid. Her rifle stayed raised, not quite aimed, but close enough to sting. Kaelis's glow flared, indignant. "I stabilized the grid," she hissed, stepping forward despite her sway. "Check the logs. Someone else tripped the failsafe." Her tools clinked as she gripped them tighter, Defiance masking exhaustion. Ethan held up a hand, silencing them. "Enough. Lila, get the crew to secure the hub. Kaelis, you're with me." His voice was steady, but inside, doubt churned. Red Haven had taught him hesitation killed, yet Kaelis's secrets, her neural bridge, Terran's surveillance, clouded every choice. He met her eyes, searching for truth, finding only resolve. Lila hesitated, then nodded, vanishing into the smoke with a curt, "Watch your back, Captain." The words carried weight, a warning aimed at Kaelis as much as the raiders. Ethan led Kaelis through the wreckage, boots crunching on debris, the hub's hum faltering under the strain. Jara Vin appeared, her Zykari colors muted, helping a wounded Lyrian to safety. "Kaelis, your bridge. It could calm this," she urged, voice trembling but hopeful. Vren Thaler, nearby, scoffed, his cybernetic arms sparking as he patched a console. "Her toys glitching my systems," he growled, optic whirring. "Fix it, Vorath, or scrap it." Kaelis ignored them, her focus on Ethan, intense, almost desperate. "I need to check the core," she said, voice low. "If I'm right, this is sabotage, deep, deliberate." Her glow flickered again, weaker now, and Ethan's chest tightened. She was pushing too far, too fast. A distant explosion rocked the deck, and Taran Vex's voice cut through the comms, smooth and venomous. "Kaelis is a human weapon," he declared, words echoing across Nexus 7. "Trust her, and you fall." Ethan's grip on his pistol tightened, the hub's chaos closing in. Kaelis froze, her eyes wide, locked on him. The self-destruct countdown ticked in his mind. Relentless, was she the key to saving them, or the spark that would burn it all down? The Nexus 7 corridors echoed with the clatter of boots and the wail of distant alarms, a relentless pulse against Ethan Cole's nerves. He moved fast, pulse pistol drawn, Kaelis at his side, her diamond skin flickering like a dying star. The air carried the sting of smoke, sharp and acrid, as they docked into a maintenance shaft, its walls lined with humming conduits. Lumora's warning, self-destruct, 24 hours, looped in Ethan's mind, each tick a hammer blow. Taran Vex's broadcast still rang, branding Kaelis a traitor, sowing chaos across the station. Ethan paused at a junction, scanning the shadows. "Core's this way," he said, voice low, nodding toward a flickering access panel. "If you're right about sabotage, we'll find proof there." His scar throbbed, Red Haven's failure whispering, "Trust carefully." He glanced at Kaelis, her glow dim, her breath uneven. The neural bridge's toll was clear, yet she pressed on. Why risk so much? Kaelis nodded, tools clinking in her hands. I'll know sabotage when I see it, she said, sharp but strained, like a wire stretched thin. Her violet eyes met his, fierce but searching. You don't fully trust me, do you? Ethan's jaw tightened, caught off guard. I want to, he admitted, voice rough. But Terran's got eyes everywhere, and your bridge, those signals leaking out, they're not adding up. He stepped closer, the shaft's hump swallowing his words. Give me something, Kaelis, anything. Before she could answer, Leela Torres rounded the corner, rifle slung low, her face a mask of soot and suspicion. Found one of Terran's toys, she said, tossing a blinking red device onto the deck. It skittered, its pulse faint but menacing. Surveillance wired to the core. Guess who was near it last? Her eyes locked on Kaelis, cold and unyielding. Kaelis's glow flared, defiant. I didn't plant that, she snapped, stepping forward, tools gripped like weapons. Check the logs. I've been repairing, not breaking. Her voice shook, not with fear, but fury, and Ethan saw her hands tremble, the neural bridge's pain etching lines into her face. Lila didn't blink. Logs can be faked, Vorath. Earth's ready to lock you down, and Concord's itching to dissect that device of yours. She turned to Ethan, voice dropping. We can't afford this risk, Captain. Hand her over. Ethan's pulse spiked, the shaft's walls closing in. He looked at Kaelis, her glow steadying, her eyes pleading, not for mercy, but for faith. The neural bridge's schematic flashed in his mind. Encrypted, powerful, dangerous. Red Haven's scream to cut and run, but something deeper held him fast. The access panel sparked, and Kaelis moved, kneeling to work. Let me prove it, she said, voice cutting through the tension. Her tools danced, prying open the panel to reveal a nest of wires, one pulsing red, tied to Terran's device. This is sabotage, she muttered, clipping a wire with a snap. The red pulse died, but her glow dimmed further, a wince crossing her face. Ethan crouched beside her, close enough to hear her shallow breaths. The shaft fell silent, alarms fading to a distant whine. Kaelis, he said softly, searching her eyes. This bridge, it's not just about Vorath, is it? It's you fighting back, proving you're more than their defective. She froze, tools stilling. They cast me out, she whispered, voice raw, barely audible over the conduit's hum. Logic was their guard, but it suffocated me. The bridge. It's my rebellion, my proof I'm alive. Her eyes flicked to his, vulnerable, then hardened. But if I lose you, Ethan, I lose the one person who sees it. His breath caught, her words a spark in the dark. He reached out, resting a hand on hers, steady and warm. You're not losing me, he said, voice firm, a vow against the ticking clock. Her skin glowed briefly, a pulse of light under his touch, and for a moment the shaft felt less cold. Leela cleared her throat, rifle still in hand. Sentimental doesn't stop a countdown, she said, but her tone softened, just a fraction. Lumora's got 24 hours on the clock, and Terran's out there laughing. Ethan stood, pulling Kaelis up, her weight light but trembling. Then we move, he said. Eyes on the panel's dead wire. Core's next. We end this. A comm buzzed. Jaravin's voice, urgent but warm. Kaelis, your bridge signals. They're calming Zakari down here. Keep going, Vren Thaler cut in gruff. And glitching my AI. Fix it, Vorath, or I will. Kaelis managed a faint smile, but it faded fast. Her comm lit up, a new message blinking. Encrypted, from the covert Vorath faction. Override code, for self-destruct. Leave Nexus 7. Join us. Her glow wavered, uncertainty creeping in. Lila's rifle twitched, her voice ice. Choose, Ethan, her or us. She stepped closer, the shaft's hum drowning in tension. Kaelis gripped his arm, eyes wide, voice a desperate threat. "Will you let me go?" The question hung, heavy as the countdown, and Ethan's scar burned, torn between duty and the woman who'd become his anchor. The Nexus 7 power core thrummed with a deep, bone-rattling pulse, its massive conduits glowing like veins of molten sapphire. Ethan Cole stood on a narrow catwalk, sweat beading on his brow, the air thick with the tang of ionized metal. Below, the core's light cast jagged shadows, twisting across Kaelis's diamond skin as she worked at a control panel, her tool sparking against sabotaged circuits. Alarms screeched, a relentless countdown, 6 hours until self-destruct, echoing in Ethan's skull. His scar burned, Red Haven's failure clawing at him, but Kaelis's presence anchored him, her glow a flicker of hope in the chaos. "Got it?" Kaelis gasped, her voice strained, slicing through the core's roar. She yanked a corrupted module free, its red pulse fading. The neural bridge prototype, wired into the panel for emergency diagnostics, hummed beside her, its cables pulsing with erratic light. Terran's sabotage, layered deep, but I can hold it. Her fingers trembled, skin dimming, pain etching her face as the bridge fed on her strength. Ethan gripped the catwalk's rail, his pulse pistol heavy at his hip. "You're killing yourself," he said, voice rough, stepping closer. "Let me take over." Her violet eyes flicked to him, fierce but glassy, and he saw the toll, each signal she sent weakening her further. Terran's broadcast still haunted him. Human weapon. Was the bridge her salvation or their doom? "I have to," Kaelis snapped, but her voice cracked, raw with desperation. "This station, Zikari, Larian, you, it's all I've got." Tap the neural bridge and a hologram flared, showing waves of peace signals washing over Nexus 7. "It's working, I feel them calming." Ethan's comm buzzed, Jaravin's voice bursting through, vibrant despite the static. "Kaelis, it's beautiful. My people's colors, soft, hopeful." Vrenthyler cut in, gruff. "Your signals rewired my AI's logic. It's better. Don't stop." Ethan glanced at Kaelis, her faint smile a spark in the core's glow, but it vanished as she winced, clutching the panel for balance. Before he could move, Leela Torres stormed onto the catwalk, rifles slung, eyes blazing. "Terran stirring. The hub again," she said, voice sharp, cutting through the hum. "Broadcasting lies, says humans rigged the bridge to control Zikari and Larian." She glared at Kaelis, suspicion carved into her frown. "Earth screaming for your head, Vorath." Kaelis's glow flared, defiant, but her knees buckled. Ethan caught her, his arm steady around her waist, her warmth startling against the core's heat. "She's saving us, Leela," he growled, locking eyes with his deputy. "Check the logs. Terran's the one spiking the core." His heart pounded, torn between Lila's warning and Kaelis's trembling frame. Lila's grip tightened on her rifle, but she nodded, stepping back. "Prove it fast, Captain. Clock's ticking." She turned, boots clanging as she headed for the hub, leaving a heavy silence in her wake. Ethan eased Kaelis upright, her breath shallow, skin flickering like a failing light. "Talk to me," he urged, voice low, searching her eyes. "What's this costing you?" The neural bridge hummed louder, its hologram pulsing wildly, and he felt the weight of her secrets, signals leaking beyond Nexus 7, into the void. "It's everything," Kaelis whispered, voice barely audible over the core's thrum. "Vorath rejected me, but this—" She gestured to the bridge, pain twisting her face. "It's my fight to be more, to show emotion binds us, not breaks us." Her eyes softened, locking on his. "You make me believe it's possible." Ethan's throat tightened, her words a mirror to his own need. Redemption, purpose. He squeezed her shoulder, steady, a silent promise. "We'll finish this together." But doubt lingered, sharp as the scar on his chest. Could he trust her fully? Lumora's voice broke through, calm but piercing. Alert. Neural bridge signals. Detected beyond system boundaries. Faint response received. Origin unknown. Ancient signature. The core's light pulsed, as if echoing the words, and Ethan's blood ran cold. A response? From where? Kaelis froze, her glow stuttering. That's not right, she muttered, tapping the bridge frantically. It shouldn't reach that far. Her eyes widened, fear creeping in, and the hologram flickered, showing a jagged signal. Alien. Old, stirring in the dark. The catwalk shook, a distant blast rumbling through the station. Terran's voice slithered over the comms, cold and triumphant. Your bridge will doom us all, Kaelis. His words dripped venom, a promise of ruin. Ethan's hand found Kaelis's, gripping tight as she swayed, the neural bridge sparking wildly. Stay with me, he urged, voice fierce, drowning out the alarms. Her glow dimmed, her body slumping, but her eyes held his, desperate, alive. The core's hum swallowed them, the countdown relentless. 6 hours left, and someone, was answering from the void. Friend or foe, it was coming, and Ethan's scar screamed one truth. Time was running out. The Nexus 7 power core roared like a caged beast, its sapphire glow pulsing through the chamber, casting stark shadows on the dented catwalk. Ethan Cole sprinted across the hub, pulse pistol blazing, each shot cracking the air as raiders fell, their armor sparking. Smoke stung his lungs, thick with the reek of charred circuits, and alarms screamed. 3 hours until self-destruct, a death knell echoing in his bones. His scar burned, Red Haven's ghosts clawing at him, but he pushed forward, driven by the faint shimmer ahead. Kaelis racing toward the control core. Cover me, Ethan shouted, voice raw, ducking a plasma bolt that scorched the deck. Loila Torres fired from a barricade, her rifle's bursts precise, pinning raiders in the haze. Jara Vin weaved through the chaos, her Zikari colors dim with fear, guiding, wounded to safety. Vren Thyler's cybernetic arm whirred, patching a sparking console, his grunts barely audible over the din. Nexus 7 was crumbling, and Terran Vex's lies fueled the fire. Kaelis, a human weapon, he'd called her. Ethan reached the core's entrance, boots skidding on ash-streaked metal. Kaelis was already inside, her diamond skin nearly dark, kneeling by the neural bridge, now wired into the station's heart. Its cables glowed erratically, a tangle of light and shadow as she fought to override Terran's sabotage. Her hands shook, tools slipping, her breath a ragged gasp against the core's thunder. Kaelis, slow down, Ethan called, vaulting, a railing to reach her. His chest heaved, sweat stinging his eyes. You're fading. Her glow was a whisper now, the bridge draining her life with every signal. He grabbed her shoulder, firm but gentle, feeling her tremble under his touch. We'll find another way. Her violet eyes snapped to his, fierce despite the pain carving her face. There is no other way, she rasped, voice breaking like glass. The bridge can calm them, Zikari, Lyrian, all of us. She tapped a control, and a hologram flared, showing peace signals flooding Nexus 7. Colors softening, systems stabilizing. I won't let Terran win. Ethan's heart twisted, her defiance mirroring his own. Red Haven's shadow, his need to save what he'd lost. But the bridge's hum turned jagged, a growl of strain, and Kaelis winced, clutching her chest. Stop, he urged, voice cracking. But she pushed on, her glow flickering like a candle in a storm. The door slammed open, and Terran Vex strode in, his metallic gray skin glinting, robes humming with hidden tech. You're too late, he sneered, voice sharp as a blade, eyes locked on Kaelis. This station falls, and you with it. He raised a device, its red pulse syncing with the core's sabotage, and Ethan's blood ran cold. Terran had planned this from the start. Ethan leveled his pistol, finger tight on the trigger. Back off, Terran, he growled, stepping between them, shielding Kaelis. "You're done here," his scar screamed, urging him to fire, but Terran's calm chilled. Him, a predator with cards yet to play. Kaelis staggered to her feet, leaning on the bridge's console. "You caused the first explosion," she spat, voice weak but venomous, tools clattering to the deck. "To trap me, to break us." She slammed a control and the bridge surged, its light blinding, sending a wave of signals. Pain, hope, unity across. Nexus 7. Jara's voice crackled through the comms, awed. "Kaelis, it's working. My people, they're stopping." Vren growled, grudging respect in his tone. "AI stabilizing. Keep it up, Vorath." Outside, the hub's chaos softened, colors calming, gunfire fading. But Kaelis screamed, a raw, shattering sound, and collapsed, her glow nearly gone. Ethan dove to her side, catching her before she hit the deck, her body light, fragile. "Kaelis, stay with me," he shouted, voice breaking, cradling her against the core's heat. Her eyes fluttered, unfocused, as the bridge sparked, its hologram fracturing. Terran laughed, cold and hollow, advancing with his device. "She's finished," he said, raising it high. "And so is your precious unity." The core's pulse quickened, sabotage reigniting, alarms howling louder, 3 hours shrinking fast. Ethan's calm buzzed, a new voice, calm. Vorath, unfamiliar. "Override code transmitted," it said, encrypted from the covert faction. "Disable the core. Abandon the human." Kaelis stirred, her hand gripping Ethan's, weak but fierce. As Terran's device pulsed brighter, chaos clawing back. The core's light swallowed them, the countdown relentless. Ethan held Kaelis tight, her breath a faint thread, and glared at Terran. The neural bridge flickered, dying, and outside, Nexus 7 teetered on the edge. Had she saved them, or had Terran's trap already snapped shut? The medbay's sterile glow bathed Kaelis in pale light, her diamond skin dull, no longer shimmering but flat, like a star burned out. She lay on a cot, eyes half open, violet irises cloudy with exhaustion. Tubes snaked from her arm, humming softly with fluids, their faint drip echoing in the quiet. Ethan Cole sat beside her, elbows on his knees, hands clasped tight to still their trembling. The scar on his chest ached, a ghost of Red Haven, but it was nothing compared to the weight of her stillness. 3 days since she'd collapsed, since the neural bridge nearly took her. "You scared me," Ethan said, voice low, rough from sleepless nights. He leaned closer, the medbay's antiseptic tang sharp in his nose. "Thought I'd lost you." Her hand rested limp on the cot, and he fought the urge to take it, to feel her warmth again. Terran's sabotage had been stopped, barely, but the cost was carved into her fragile frame. Kaelis stirred, her breath hitching, a faint glow pulsing under her skin, then fading. "I'm here," she whispered, voice brittle like cracked crystal. Her eyes met his, clearing slightly, and a ghost of a smile flickered. "You stayed." Ethan's throat tightened, her words sparking something warm, unshakable. "Couldn't leave my anchor," he said, half smiling, voice soft but steady. "You're more than a crewmate, Kaelis. You're—" He paused, the word home catching in his chest. Too raw to speak. Red Haven had stolen his roots, but she'd given him something new, a reason to fight, to believe. The medbay door hissed open, and Jara Vin glided in, her Zykari skin swirling with cautious greens, flecked with anxious yellows. "Kaelis, you're awake." Her layered voice sang with relief, tentacles curling gently. "Your bridge, it's changed us. My people paint now wilder colors, but—" She hesitated, colors dimming. "Some lose control, fight over nothing." Vren Thaler followed, his cybernetic eye whirring, arm clicking as he adjusted a scanner. "Your signals rewrote my AI," he grunted, voice grudging but intrigued. "Lyrian systems think clearer. Now, Too clear, maybe. It's unsettling. His optic flicked to Kaelis, not accusing but wary. Kaelis pushed herself up, wincing, the tubes tugging at her arm. The bridge wasn't meant to destabilize, she said, voice gaining strength, though her glow stayed faint. I can adjust it, limit the output. Her eyes darted to Ethan, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. If it's worth continuing. Ethan's jaw clenched, Terran's sneer echoing. Doom us all. The neural bridge had saved Nexus 7, but at what price? He nodded, resolute. It's worth it, he said, voice firm. You showed us what's possible. We'll fix the rest together. Lamora's voice chimed, cool and precise, from a wall panel. Interstellar Concord update. Neural bridge signals detected beyond galactic rim. Stronger response received. Ancient Vorath signature growing. The medbay's hum seemed to pause, the air heavier, as if the void itself listened. Kaelis's eyes widened, her breath catching. That's impossible, she murmured, fingers twitching as if reaching for answers. The bridge shouldn't reach that far. Fear shadowed her face, the same fear Ethan had seen when Terran loomed, when signals first leaked. Jara's colors swirled, uneasy. Something's out there, isn't it? Her voice trembled, soft but piercing. Vren's clicking stopped, his optic narrowing. If it's Vorath, it's not your counsel, he said, blunt. This feels older. Ethan stood, pacing the medbay's tight space, boots scuffing the deck. The covert Vorath's code had stopped the core's sabotage, but their demand abandoned the human nod at him. Now this signal, ancient, stirring. He glanced at Kaelis, her glow barely a whisper, and felt a surge of protectiveness, fierce and unyielding. Lumora, lock down those signals, he ordered, voice sharp. No more leaks until we know what's coming. He turned to Kaelis, softening. Rest. We'll figure this out. But his scar pulsed, warning of trust stretched thin. The door hissed again, and Lila Torres stepped in, face grim, tablet glowing with alerts. Terran's gone dark, she said, voice clipped, eyes flicking to Kaelis. Raiders are massing, his work, no doubt, and Earth's inquiry on you, Captain. Concord's shielding us, but it's shaky. Kaelis sat straighter, pain etched in her movements. I didn't mean for this, she said, voice low, haunted. The bridge was supposed to unite, not. She trailed off, staring at her hands as if they'd betrayed her. Ethan met her gaze, steady, unwavering. We're not done yet, he said, voice a quiet vow. But the medbay's glow dimmed as Lamora chimed again, a faint static weaving through. Her tone, signal strength increasing, she reported, origins still unknown. Outside, Nexus 7's hum faltered, a tremor shaking the deck. Kaelis gripped the cot, eyes wide, and Ethan's heart sank. The bridge's light had called something, someone, and it was closer now, its shadow creeping toward them all. The observation deck's vast window framed a sea of stars, their coal light glinting off the deck's polished steel. Ethan Cole stood at the edge, hands braced on the railing, the scar under his jacket a quiet pulse of unease. Nexus 7's hum vibrated faintly, a fragile heartbeat after the core's near collapse. Kaelis sat nearby, wrapped in a thermal blanket, her diamond skin still dull, drained by the neural bridge's toll. Her violet eyes traced the void, searching, haunted by Lumore's warning. An ancient Vorath signal, growing stronger, closer. You should be in medbay, Ethan said, voice low, glancing over his shoulder. His breath fogged the glass, a fleeting cloud against the infinite dark. Pushing yourself now won't fix what's coming. Her stubbornness gnawed at him, but so did her courage, the same spark that had saved them, that tethered him to her. Kaelis pulled the blanket tighter, her voice thin but sharp. Rest won't stop Terran, she said, eyes narrowing. Or whatever's out there. She nodded at the stars, where a faint distortion shimmered, barely visible. A ship, maybe, cloaked in mystery. The bridge called it. I need to know why. Ethan's jaw clenched, Taran Vex's sneer echoing. Your bridge will summon ruin. He turned, crouching beside her, close enough to catch her faint metallic scent. Like stardust and circuits. We'll face it together, he said, voice steady, a vow against the void. But you're no good to anyone half dead. Her lips twitched, almost a smile, but pain shadowed her gaze. You sound like you care, Captain, she murmured, softer now, testing the words. Her hand brushed his, a fleeting warmth, and his chest tightened, Red Haven's ghosts fading under her quiet strength. The deck's calm crackled, and Lila Torres's voice cut through, taut with urgency. Captain, we've got chatter. Raiders massing beyond the docking ring. Taran's signature all over it. A pause, heavy, and Concord's demanding. A neural bridge demo. They're not asking. Ethan stood, frustration sparking. Taran's playing chess while we're dodging bullets, he muttered, running a hand through his hair. He glanced at Kaelis, her glow flickering, weak but defiant. Can you stabilize it? Keep it from calling anything else? Kaelis nodded, pushing to her feet, blanket slipping to the deck. I'll try, she said, voice resolute despite her sway. Long-term signals, lower strength. It'll hurt less. Her eyes met his, a flicker of trust, and Ethan felt a surge of something deeper, unspoken, binding them. The doors hissed open, and Jara Vin glided in, her Zykari colors swirling with anxious reds, flecked with hopeful blues. Kaelis, we need you. Her voice trembled, layered tones sharp with worry. The hub's tense, fights breaking out, but your signals could calm them. Her tentacles curled, brushing the air like a plea. Vren, Thalor trailed her, his cybernetic eye glinting, clicking fingers betraying unease. Your bridge is evolving us, he said, voice grudging, almost awed. Lyrian AI's asking questions about emotion. It's dangerous. His optic fixed on Kaelis, probing, not hostile but unsettled. Kaelis steadied herself, chin lifting. Dangerous or not, it's working, she said sharp, but her hand gripped the railing, knuckles pale. I'll adjust the output, balance it. Her glow pulsed faintly, a spark of defiance, but Ethan saw the cost. Pain, etched in every line of her face. Lamora's voice chimed, cool and piercing. Update. Incoming signal matches. Pre-collapse Vorath markers. Vessel detected. Approaching Nexus 7. Cloaked. The deck's hum seemed to falter, the stars outside sharper, as if holding their breath. Ethan's pulse spiked, eyes snapping to the distortion. Closer now. A shadow against the void. Lock it down, Lamora, he ordered, voice hard. No contact until we're ready. He turned to Kaelis softer. You sure about this demo? She met his gaze, resolute. It's my fight, she said, voice low, a thread of steel. For Nexus 7. For us. Her hand lingered near his, not touching, but close. A promise unspoken. The deck shook, a muffled boom reverberating from the hub. Lila's voice burst through the comms, frantic. Explosion. Raiders hit the outer grid, Taran's moving. Static crackled, her words cutting out, and Ethan's blood ran cold. Taran wasn't just planning, he was striking. Jera's colors flared. Panicked. Kaelis, we need the bridge now. Vren's clicking quickened, his optic whirring. Or it'll tear us apart, he muttered half to himself. Kaelis stepped forward, blanket forgotten, her glow struggling to shine. I'll go, she said, voice firm, but her eyes flicked to Ethan, a silent question. Stay with me? He nodded resolute, their bond a lifeline in the dark. The stars outside pulsed, the cloaked ship's shadow looming larger. Taran's gambit was unfolding, and the neural bridge's call had woken something ancient, unstoppable. Ethan's scar burned, a warning as the deck trembled again, and Kaelis's voice broke the silence. We'll stop him, she said, fierce, gripping his arm. Won't we? The Nexus 7 grand atrium shimmered with 1,000 lights. holographic banners casting golden hues across the gathered crowd. Ethan Cole stood on a raised platform, his boots firm against the polished deck, the scar under his jacket a quiet reminder of battles past. Zikaris swirled in vibrant patterns, their colors a hopeful tide, while Lyrian optics pulsed in sync, steady and curious. Humans mingled among them, their chatter a warm hum, but tension lingered, sharp as the memory of Taran Vex's last strike. The Unity Pact, Ethan's call to bind Nexus 7, was a fragile dream, and he felt its weight in every breath. He raised a hand, silencing the murmurs, his voice steady, carrying across the vast space. "We've bled for this station," he said, eyes sweeping the crowd. Zikari, Lyrian, human, Vorath. We're not just survivors, we're family. His gaze settled on Kaelis, standing at the platform's edge, her diamond skin faintly aglow, fragile but unbroken. "And she's our bridge." Kaelis stepped forward, her movement slow, deliberate, the neural bridge's toll still etched in her frame. Her violet eyes shone, resolute, meeting the crowd stares, some warm, some wary. "The neural bridge isn't perfect," she said, voice clear, ringing like struck crystal. "But it's proof we can understand each other, feel each other without fear." Her glow pulsed, weak but defiant, and Ethan's chest swelled, pride, mingling with something deeper, unspoken. Jara Vin, near the front, let her colors burst into radiant blues, her layered voice humming approval. "You've given us hope, Kaelis," she called, tentacles swaying like a dance. Vren Thyler stood beside her, his cybernetic eye glinting, arms crossed. "Hope's messy," he grunted, but a nod betrayed grudging respect. "Your signal sharpened my AI. Keep them steady." The atrium's calm crackled, and Lemora's voice cut through. Calm, but urgent. "Interstellar Concord report. Neural bridge cleared for limited use. Nexus 7 commended." A cheer rose, but Ethan caught the subtext. Cleared, but watched. Earth's inquiry still hung over him, softened only by Concord's shield, and his demotion stung, a quiet wound. Lula Torres leaned in from his side, her voice low, edged with caution. "Terran's in custody," she said, tablet glowing with data. Covert Vorath grabbed him, tense, but they held him. She glanced at Kaelis, softer now. "They're split, though. Some want slow reform, others crave a revolution. Emotions. Unleashed no brakes. Troubles brewing." Ethan nodded, jaw tight, scanning the crowd. The covert Vorath stood apart, their gray skin muted, eyes darting, half watching Kaelis, half glaring at each other. Taran's confession had shaken them. He'd twisted the great collapse's truth, blaming emotion to hoard power. Now their fracture threatened more than Nexus 7. It hinted at a Vorath civil war, dormant but waking. Kaelis spoke again, her voice steady despite her faltering glow. "I built the bridge to heal," she said, hands clasped, trembling slightly. "Not to divide. We'll refine it. Together." Her eyes found Ethan's, a silent anchor, and he felt their bond tighten, a love unspoken but fierce, stronger than any scar. As Zakari in the crowd raised a tentacle, colors flashing bright. "Show us," they called, voice eager, sparking murmurs of agreement. Kaelis hesitated, then nodded, moving to a portable neural bridge console, its cables humming softly. She tapped a control, wincing as it activated, sending gentle signals. Across the atrium, Jara gasped, her colors exploding into vivid purples, swirling with joy. "It's alive," she laughed, spinning, drawing smiles from humans nearby. Vren's optic whirred, his voice low. AI's picking it up, stable, for now. But he frowned, clicking his fingers, sensing a glitch beneath the calm. Ethan watched Kaelis, her glow fading with each pulse, pain creasing her brow. "Easy," he murmured, stepping closer, hand hovering near her shoulder. She shook her head, stubborn, but leaned into him slightly, her warmth a quiet plea. The crowd didn't see her struggle, only her light, and Ethan's heart ached. She was giving everything. Lemora chimed again, her tone shifting, a faint static weaving through. Alert. Cloaked vessel approaching. 500 kilometers. Ancient Vorath signature confirmed. Pre-collapse. The atrium's lights flickered, gasps rippling through the crowd. Ethan's pulse spiked, the void beyond the viewport darkening. A shadow, drawing near. Kaelis' hand froze on the console, her glow stuttering. "I didn't mean to call them," she whispered, voice cracking, eyes wide with fear. She turned to Ethan, desperate. "What have I done?" He gripped her arm, steady, his voice a low vow. "We'll face it," he said, eyes locked on hers, shielding her from the crowd's rising panic. But the neural bridge hummed louder, its signals spiraling, and the viewport's stars seemed to shift, aligning with something vast. Unseen, Jara's colors dulled, her voice trembling. "They're here, aren't they?" Vren's clicking stopped, his optic fixed on the void. "Not ours," he muttered. Tense. Lila's tablet beeped, alerts flashing. Raiders, Terran's remnants, stirring again. Kaelis pushed the neural bridge one last time, a peace signal, her glow nearly gone. She swayed, collapsing into Ethan's arms, her breath a faint gasp. The crowd hushed, the atrium's hum swallowed by silence, as the void answered. A deep, resonant pulse, ancient Vorath words crackling through Lemora's speakers. Ethan held, Kaelis tight, her weight light, fragile as the stars outside pulsed with intent. "Who did we call?" he whispered, voice breaking, the Unity Pact teetering on the edge of something vast, unstoppable. The observation deck's silence was a living thing, wrapping Ethan Cole in its weight as he stood beside Kaelis, her hand warm in his, trembling but steady. Beyond the viewport, the galaxy sprawled, stars glinting like scattered embers. There, light sharp against the void, the ancient Vorath ship hung just out of sight, its cloaked silhouette a faint ripple, confirmed by Lemora's scans. Kaelis's diamond skin held no glow now, dulled by the neural bridge's final pulse, but her violet eyes burned, alive with defiance, with hope. Ethan's scar pulsed faintly, Red Haven's ghosts quiet at last, replaced by her presence. His anchor, his unspoken love. "We did it," Kaelis whispered, voice soft, cracked like thin ice. She squeezed his hand, her breath steadying as she gazed at the stars. The Unity Pact held, Nexus 7 still ours. Her lips curved, a fragile smile, and Ethan felt his chest loosen, a warmth spreading despite the unknown looming beyond. He nodded, his voice low, rough with relief. "You gave them a reason to believe," he said, eyes tracing her face, memorizing every line. "Zikari, Lyrian, even the stubborn ones, they saw you fight for it." He paused, the word oofs catching in his throat, too raw, too true. Instead, he tightened his grip, letting his touch speak what words couldn't. The deck's hum shifted, a soft tremor underfoot, and Lemora's voice broke the quiet, cool but tinged with something new, curiosity almost. "Incoming transmission, decoded, pre-collapse Vorath archive, visual data received." A hologram flickered to life, casting a soft glow across the deck. It showed a world, lush, vibrant, its skies streaked with auroras, Vorath moving in harmony, their skin shimmering with emotion, not logic. A city sang with light, alive, before the great collapse stole it all. Kaelis gasped, her free hand rising, as if to touch the image. "This was us," she murmured, voice thick, eyes glistening. Before they locked it away, her gaze flicked to Ethan, awe and fear mingling. The neural bridge, it woke their memory. Ethan's heart pounded, the hologram's beauty a stark contrast to the void's threat. "Woke more than that," he said, voice steady but tight, nodding at the viewport's ripple. "That ship's no ghost. It's here, and it knows you." Cold. He stood closer, shoulder brushing hers, a shield against the unknown. Jaravin's voice crackled through the comms, vibrant despite exhaustion. "Ah, Kaelis, the hub's alive with art," she sang, her Zykari colors audible in her tone. Blues, golds, bursting. "Your signals inspired them. Paintings, songs." But a pause followed, softer. "Some fight, though. Too much feeling. Too fast." Vren Thaler caught in, his gruff drone laced with unease. "Larian AI's evolving," he said, clicking faintly. "Asking why we feel now. Your bridge did this, Vorath. It's not bad, just strange." His words hung, a grudging nod to change. Layla Torres appeared at the deck's entrance, tablet dim, her face weary but softer. "Concord's tracking those signals," she said, voice low, stepping closer. "They've hit distant systems, civilizations. We don't know." It's stirring debate, emotion versus logic. Her eyes flicked to Kaelis, no longer cold. "You've started something big." Kaelis exhaled, her glow gone but her strength clear, rooted in Ethan's touch. "I wanted unity," she said, voice steady, though doubt shadowed her words. "Was it worth it?" She looked to Ethan, vulnerable, seeking not answers but trust. He met her gaze, unwavering. "Every second," he said, voice firm, a vow carved in starlight. "You showed us what's possible. We'll handle what comes." His thumb brushed her hand, a quiet promise, and her smile returned, small but real, grounding them both. The deck trembled again, stronger now, and Lumora's voice sharpened. "Vessel decloaking, pre-collapse Vorath design. Intact, broadcasting, neural bridge frequency." The hologram shifted, showing the ship, sleek, radiant, its hull pulsing with colors long forgotten by Vorath's council. A voice followed, deep, resonant, in ancient tones. "We hear you. We return." Ethan's breath caught, the scar silent, his focus on Kaelis. The covert Vorath's split, reform versus revolution, flashed in his mind, a spark of future strife, but it faded against the now. Zykari art bloomed, Larian questioned, humans hoped, and Nexus 7 stood, fragile but fierce. Kaelis gripped his hand tighter, her voice a whisper, fierce and alive. "We've revived history," she said, eyes locked on the stars where the ship's light grew, a beacon or a warning. The deck's hum swallowed their words, but her touch held fast, a lifeline in the vast unknown. The galaxy waited, its questions unanswered. Would emotion unite the stars, or tear them apart? Ethan stood with her, ready as the ancient ships. Glow pierced the void. A new flame kindled, burning toward an uncertain dawn.